Alright, I got a new video for you today, and it took me 14 months to get back in my apartment. Now, what they did was they moved me out of my apartment to put me in a really small one. It was supposed to be 3 months. It ended up being 14. However, when I did get moved back, which was only about 3 weeks ago, I do have all new appliances. Everything's been repainted. Everything's been made brand new, which is great. And I've even got, instead of carpet, I finally got hardwood. It looks like hardwood. It's, the vinyl flooring and stuff like that, which is a little bit nice. I'd rather mop the floor than vacuum it, and I don't like carpeting anyway. So this worked out great. But it did take a long time to get back. It really messed with my YouTube channel for my Guitar Shred channel. And I did a few videos when I was over there, just doing some, acrylic pouring stuff, which I still do that, but I want to get back into the reviews. Now, yesterday on this channel, I did a YouTube short about me playing the guitar I'm going to review today, so that way I won't have to play it. When I do reviews again or whatever, I'll actually play them in the video and stuff. But today I want to talk about, now I need my glasses for this. Why do they name guitars like this? I don't know why. This is the IYV IEHLFF8-300 Multi-Scale Headless 8-String. Why? Why couldn't they just call it something else? But they did it! And that's fine. So I had to write it all down. Anyway, it's here, and I'm sorry that, I'm trying to zoom in and out here. But this is a multi-scale, which is great because I really don't want an 8-string that's 25.5 inch scale. That's more for 6-string. I don't even think 7-string should be 25.5 inch scale because I don't want my strings to be floppy and out of tune. But the problem is when I got this, I didn't know what the scale length was. I was kind of gambling, thinking, well, if it's a multi-scale, my chances are pretty good. And it's weird because you can only get these on Amazon unless you get one used, someone has or selling it. As far as I know, you can't get them anywhere but Amazon. And that's a lot of stuff you can only get on Amazon, which is weird. And they have no specs for it except for the fact they say it is basswood. I believe this is most likely basswood. It's a very lightweight. And I don't have a problem with that basswood at all, whatever. And they make high-end guitars with basswood sometimes. But this is the IYV, and now the only thing they said other than that is powder coat, black and white. This is most likely powder coated, But this is a bolt-on neck. I don't care if it's bolt-on or not. I don't care about that stuff. I just want it to play well, Now, what I want to get to is something that's very important. Not a lot of people talk much about scale length, and I find scale length extremely important, especially anything after, more than 6 strings. I will not, and I'm going to stress again, I will not own nor build a 8-string guitar that's 25.5 inch scale. I would say 27 minimum. And then you're doing good because Ibanez did it right from the beginning. I'm not a big Ibanez fan, but from the beginning, Ibanez started doing the RG8s, and they did 27 inch scale. And I had a few RG8s, and that was fine for the scale length because the strings aren't too floppy and you can really get them tuned in well. So I wasn't sure when I bought this what the scale length would be. Like I said, multi-scale, your chances are better. So I got this, I measured it. You measure the scale length, and not many people say this, but I think it's extremely important to have scale length, information. On the 8th string, the F sharp string is 28 inch scale, 28. And the high E is 27. Now you notice it doesn't have that much. It is fan fretted, but it's not that much. There's not much of an angle to it. And I've never had trouble with it's in tune to standard E, and it's not floppy at all. It's really nice. But when you get the guitar, if you get one of these, the strings are complete garbage. Like the ball end is just like a piece of garbage metal, just one little piece. It's not going to stay in tune. Immediately change the strings. I've got a set of Ernie balls on here, and they're staying really well. And all you have to do is set up. This is the way it is. And you can do a setup with these real quick. The truss rod is interesting because with the headless, the truss rod is down here. It's a little wheel. And just take like a little Allen key and put it in there and kind of just pull it and pull it and pull it. It goes between the strings, which is nice. Instead of have to deal with a truss rod up here. And some of them have a truss rod up there, but this one does. It's nice to have that set up really quickly. Like I said, F sharp is 28 inch scale. The high E string is 27 inch scale. And there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's got a volume and tone on it. It's got the pickups. They're like the active mount kind of pickups, which are cool. and all that, but they're not active pickups. They're just, you know, regular passive pickups. Now, as of 5 minutes ago, when I checked Amazon for the price, as of 5 minutes ago, from the time of me doing the video, the price for this guitar was $298.67. And as of the moment, they're in stock. Now, these things go out of stock often and stuff, but I'm not like against Chinese made guitars. I don't care. As long as it plays well and it is well made, I don't care. You know, if its pickups are bad, I'll just change pickups, whatever. But a lot of people are real weird about they don't want a Chinese made guitar. Fine. If you don't want that, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you're a big Ibanez fan, a Jackson fan, a Gibson, Fender. If you like that, great. That's great. You know, if you like that. I'm not into that stuff. And I'm all about saving money because I'm a broke kind of person. But, you know, for what it is, and if you want to get an 8-string that's affordable, I would say this is not a bad 8-string. Like I said, when you get it, it's going to need a setup and it's going to need strings. And like I said, you go with the Ernie Ball, and like I went with the Diodario and stuff like that. And I think I said Ernie Ball before. I meant Diodario if I didn't say that. But I mean, 8 strings are readily available. You usually get a set of 8 string for like around $10, sometimes less for a set of 8 string guitar strings. It's not like you're buying the 6 string bass strings, which are considerably more expensive. But bass strings last longer and things. But this one here, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Maybe you'd like to see this thing framed in my face. I don't know. I can't get my angles right. But for what it is, it's really not bad. And if you're someone that doesn't like multi-scale because of the angling, this one isn't angled much. You can see it like in the video, you really can't see it that well. But in person, you can see it's angled. Especially as you get down here, you can see it's angled. But the angling is not that bad. I used to have an Ibanez, I forget what it was. And it was like one of them high-end RG whatevers. And it had like a really strong angle to it because it was a multi-scale. And it was kind of hard to play. This one, you really don't notice that the angle's not that bad. Then again, you're going from 27-inch all the way up to another inch of 28. So it's not really going to be that big of an angle at all. They also do make another guitar. It's exactly like this. It's also an 8-string, but it's not any kind of a multi-scale. It was advertised, I think, as 25.5-inch scale, which how in the world could you play that? Unless you got real super thick strings. I just go with 9s, and if you did 10s, it's still 25.5-inch scale and an 8-string. Having 10s would be too thin, still too light. But it is what it is. I don't mind Chinese guitars. I don't mind lower budget guitars if they play well and they're built well. You know, and this one here, the pickups are strong. If you see the video, the short I did, if you check this channel, I did a short yesterday just on my half stack. And it played fine. It's just all stock everything except for the strings, but it wasn't bad. And if some people can't get used to the headless stuff, I don't care. It's kind of weird when you're standing up playing to get used to the headless stuff. But I don't care. You know, headless is getting more and more popular. I mean, headless has been around since the 70s with Steinberger and stuff. And they've always been around. But I think within the last 10 or 12 years, I think they're getting a little bit more popular. I mean, even Kiesel's been making a lot of really nice headless. And Ibanez has made a little line of headless and stuff. And headless has been around, you know, for quite a while. But if you're looking into one of these, if you've seen it on Amazon or whatever, for what they are, they're not bad. For the price, they're worth the price. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't see paying $1,000 guitar of any kind of guitar worth it. I've been to music stores and I've seen Gibson Les Pauls for like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, and I can't figure out how they get 10 grand into a guitar. No one can explain that to me. I just don't understand it. I've played those guitars. I'm like, you know, when you pay that much, I mean, you want to get a Gibson, let's get like a Gibson, like a Les Paul Studio. Those are great guitars. They're not horribly expensive. Like a Fender, you like Fender. I mean, I've seen Fender like 50 and 70th anniversary was go for an astonishing amount of money. But just go, if you want a American-made Fender, just go get standard Strat. It's still like $2 grand. But if that's what you like, I mean, I don't even have a problem with the Mexican-made Fenders at that point, but some of the Mexican-mades are getting real expensive. I mean, you know, but heck, at that point, get a Squier. I don't have a problem with Squier, but they got a bad name because, like, oh, they're not expensive, so they're junk. And then you can't really think that way. But, you know, if you got a Gibson, you get a Fender, you like it, that's great. You know, but if I was rich, maybe I'd have a Gibson too, but I just wouldn't, even rich, I wouldn't see myself paying $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a guitar. I just couldn't, I just couldn't do it, you know, but I don't know. But a lot of people get away from Chinese made stuff. I'm not, I'm going to them, you know. if they're good quality built. It's kind of hard to find a guitar that's not real great quality. Like they have like that called Leo James, and they're big on Amazon. I had one, and I got it was like 200 some bucks. It was like the purple one, like a Strat shape with a hard tail. It had a real thick neck. The neck was so thick I ended up having to sand the neck down to flatten it out more. The pickups weren't great. I mean, it's a nice budget guitar, but they could have done better. I thought Leo James wasn't that great. Actually, I wouldn't buy another one. I actually wouldn't even recommend them. But I'm not saying they're a bad guitar company, but they could have done a little bit better for the quality, you know. And the pickups were junk, and you know, if you liked them, great. But I just didn't care for them. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it isn't any good. Just that I wouldn't recommend stuff I don't like. You know, but something like this, I think it's pretty good for an 8-string. If you want to goof around with an 8-string, not spend a lot of money, this is a good one to get, and stuff like that. Now they make 6-string guitars as well, and stuff. They also make a 7 as well. I've never played the 7-string or anything, but these are pretty cool for what they are. But if you ever get a chance, check them out. This again, oh, here we go. Where's my glasses? Here we go. IYV. It's not Ivy, it's IYV. So it's the IYV IEHLFF8-300 multi-scale headless 8-string. I hope this video helped you. If you're looking into those, and I'll talk to you soon.